Hey there, I've actually got another rocket kit review. This time we've got a Estes Eagle. It's a boost glider. I'm gonna open it up and see what I think about it. I haven't even read the instructions yet, so I will get back to you after that. So we will begin the surgery with an incision up here to open up the package. Probably should have done that on a cutting board, but I don't care about this desktop. Alright. In the package we have a very cool wing. It's foam. There's a tail wing in here too, and looks like there's some sticky weights. Probably, I'm guessing those are. We'll find out later when I read the instructions. We have a pre-colored or pre-painted or pre-covered tube. Looks nice. It's just BT50, I think. Yeah, BT50 is the 18 millimeter stuff, I think. No, BT20. BT20. A rod. Hard plastic or metal, I can't tell. It is a little bent. I don't know if you can tell that in the camera. Here, you might be able to see it if I put it up against something straight. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. Whole bunch of plastics. Looks like it's got you have to assemble the nose. There's actually going to be 2 nose cones in this one, based on the picture I saw. And these look like they have, I don't know, like sticky stuff to attach them. It's kind of weird. Engine stuff, shock mount, and this clay in there is to weight the nose cone so that it flies properly. Alright, and oh, there's a streamer. So it looks like it comes in 2 parts. One part comes down on a streamer, the other glides. And a tube. This is going to be for marking and shoving things up in here. This is actually not a motor mount tube. The BT5 tube is the actual motor mount tube. So this is a minimum diameter rocket, which is not that uncommon in 18 millimeter, but Estes is going away from doing minimum diameter stuff like this. I just haven't seen many rockets that are that small. It's either the mini engines or it jumps up to like a BT50 or BT55 tube with an 18 millimeter engine mount. We get the Estes warranty. And the instructions. So it doesn't look like it's going to be that complicated of a rocket. I'm going to read these because I haven't read these and I haven't built a boost glider before. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Here's hoping I can find out. Alright, we'll start with the motor mount here, as per the instructions. One of the things they have you do is they have you mark the tube, and they have you mark it kind of in the black spot, which I don't know if you're even going to be able to see my mark there. Oh, you may be able to pick it out at the end there. You can actually see that, even though it's marked over there, and that's where we're going to make our incisions and put the motor hook, which is in here. Alright. Trying not to cut anything in the package. Or myself. We got 2 weights here. This is the shock cord. It's elastic. This is what you're going to get in an Estes kit. It's pretty good. I've had 1 or 2 fail on me. They tend to be a little short. This one seems to be fine in size. When you install these, make sure you never ever use CA glue. CA glue will ruin the rubber in this, the elastic in it. So use a wood glue, which is why I have wood glue here with me as well. But again, we'll get to that later. We're looking for the motor block and the motor mount tube. Alright, it has the instructions show us making this cut right on that line. Wow. Oh, there we go. Right towards the bottom of this. So that's where we'll make it. And just making sure this fits first. All right. That's where that motor hook is going to end up. But first, we've got to put the motor block in. So that one's going to be the old glue on a stick trick. Anytime I do a motor mount where I need more time, I'm not going to use a super glue. I'm going to use wood glue. So I'll use wood glue for this, and I'll use it for the shot cord mount. Just put a little bit on a scrap piece of balsa or something you have laying around. Grab a scrap piece of balsa and try and get it up in there. Let's see if we can't get more in there. Yeah. Yep, we've got some in there. And you put this in, and you mark the yellow tube 1/4 of an inch, and this is so you can get it in there nice and flat. Pull the tube out. You do not want that tube in there. It is just a measuring device. Make sure you can get the motor mount thing in, and that it is indeed. That is how you get the motor mount in. The next step is to rough up this tube so some glue will sit on there. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. It really doesn't take a whole lot of sanding to do this. And you can kind of feel it when it starts to, because the Estes tubes will come with a gloss to them. When you can feel the roughness, that's about all you really need to do. This part, it says to use plastic cement. I have found I have far better luck with just super glue than I do plastic cement, because you have to hold plastic cement forever. The fumes are atrocious, and a number of other things. But this just goes up flush with the body. So I'm going to use a thick super glue. Oh wow, that screwed it out in there. And that got goopy. I'll wipe it off on you. Come off. Don't worry, I'm buying a new cutting board soon anyways. There we go. I like using the thick super glue because it's easy to keep off your hands. It stays where you put it, although it does take longer to dry. You can always hit it with like an accelerator, which I know I have around here, but by the time I find it, this glue will be dry, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Alright. Put the cap back on that. Let that dry. The next step involves wrapping this part with a red vinyl tape, and you actually get 2 pieces of it. They're on this one edge, and the instructions are fairly clear about where it actually starts and where it should end. So it should start right after the mount, the engine hook, and wrap around and end up here. So we will take off the big piece if I can get it to come off. Come on. Oh, you know what's good for this? A nice sharp knife, which I should have laying around because I was just using it. And just kind of come up and try to pick it up under a corner. Sometimes when you take that part off, it makes it easier. Yeah, there we go. Put the knife away. And as you can see, there's a bit left. And a little bit extra came off. There we go. I didn't need the knife after all. Alright. Hardest part of this whole build is lining up stickers. This is why I don't do decals on any of my models, because I hate this part. Alright. That's mostly right. There's a little bit at the edge I screwed up at, but nobody's perfect. It suggests we do the shot cord next, and for that you have to cut out a piece of the instructions. They were nice enough to put nothing important on the other side of it. I always just freehand this. I mean, you can grab a ruler if you want, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference how accurate this cut is, so long as you get about the right amount of material. So, quick and dirty. If you've done one of these, you've done a million of these from Estes. They're all the same. I like to pre-fold. So, bang. Bang. Open it up. Realize that the universe is cruel and unkind and that your hands are going to get a little gluey. And deal with it. Just a little bit of glue. Smush it around. And then slap the shot cord down. Some people like to zigzag them. I find that's really not necessary. It's the shot cord itself that breaks after a while. And really that's more paying attention to your wadding and all that than anything else for these elastic ones. This is actually a fairly strong mount. It's not as strong as, say, a motor mount would be. And I could have done that. I have a piece of Kevlar here I could have used instead of this for a shot cord. But, we're making the kit, not my modification to the kit. And I always like to make sure I can get the sides nice and crimped down. And I always put the side with the fold showing near the end towards the tube so that I can glue not only the bottom part up here but the top part too and help keep that closed. And this goes basically as far as your finger can go in there. Give it a little pre-bend to get it into the tube. And it doesn't really matter where it ends up going. because you'll never see it on the outside. The next step is preparing the nose cone. It does have to be weighted, and they start out with 1 cube of clay on this nose cone. There is another smaller nose cone that will also get some clay, but a lesser amount. And then it's balanced from adding clay to the outside of these to another part of the glider. And the way you do this with the clay is you open it up. This one specifically says use 1 square of clay. These are a specific weight or close enough to a specific weight. And then roll it into a snake. We've all done this as a young child. We don't have to do too much of this because we've got the entire back of the nose cone open. And you shove it in there. And you go in with your handy dandy pencil. And you smush it down all the way. You're going to get a little bit on your eraser. Don't use your favorite pencil with this. You want it as far forward as you can get it. Alright. You can see I actually ended up getting it fairly deep in there. And there's not too much mess on my eraser over here. And then the next step is to glue the nose cone shut. Make sure you clean out the ledge here because this is going to go on there. And once again, it says plastic cement. I'll use super glue. Super glue will do the same thing. It'll basically weld together the pieces for plastic. Alright, this isn't coming out. There we go. And you don't need an enormous amount of super glue for this. Put it in, give it a spin, and wipe off the excess. And let that dry. If you're following the instructions, the next steps after this are attaching the nose cone to the end of the shot cord and putting the streamer on. I'm going to hold off on that until the very end. It's just more stuff in the way, basically. And I want this, well, this is probably already dry, but I want this in here to be thoroughly dry before I put any weight or tug on that. Alright, let's stop getting high from the super glue and move on to the next step. Alright, we have 2 steel balls for the next step. And we need to open this package. And this is how we're going to weight the glider nose cone. Don't lose those, they're important. And the small one goes in first, the big one goes in second, and then we're going to seal them in there with just a little bit of this. You're not actually going to use, well, you might use the rest of this clay in adjustment. I'm not going to be able to adjust this rocket today. It's raining out pretty much all day. So I might be able to get to it tomorrow. We'll see. But they say for this, use a little bit less than 1/4 of it. So, there's that. Put the rest someplace safe. Roll that a little bit. Put it in the nose cone. And once again, make sure you clean up the edge and really pack this in there. Clean off the edge. That's what that looks like. There's a little bit of rattling going on, so I'm going to try pushing this down a little bit harder. I think that's the difference between where the big ball is caught and where the small ball is caught. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of that rattle this way without taking out the clay, putting a little bit of clay in, and then doing that. But the clay is going to be kind of a pain to get out of there. So in the future, when you build this, put the small ball in, put a tiny bit of clay in, put the big ball in, fill up the rest with the rest of the clay it recommends. All right. After that, we attach this thing to this thing. And how do we go about doing that? We push it all the way in as far as we can. Well, that got rid of a lot of the clay. Make sure we can get it in there all the way. Oh, looks like a little bit more clay will need to come out, and that'll happen when I do that. Bit more clay. We're getting to the large ball, so we can't go much further than that. All right. So I am just going to load this sucker up. Because frankly, I don't see a better way. Alright, I'm definitely touching on that ball. I am actually going to switch over here and use the thin stuff. I'm going to use another nozzle. It's just this gives me a lot more control over where the super glue is going. When you use the thin stuff, you should really use safety goggles. I'm not going to show you, but I am now. I have been because I've been using super glue here all the time, and you know, the knife and all that. And you can watch it go up the tube. And we're just going to come in here and fill in this area. One of the nice things about this thin stuff is this is already pretty much dry. This is water thin. Super glue. We should be good. Oh, where'd my accelerator go? I don't know. But the super thin stuff won't take long. That's why it's smelly. The smellier it is, the quicker it works. Kind of want to set this so that that joint isn't on anything. The step after this is to attach the metal rod to this. And we have the slot heading vertically. Oops, I got super glue all down there. Look at that. This is why I prefer using accelerator and all that, because I don't have to worry about that. And I already know I got a lot on my finger here, but it's already dry. I can feel it. Alright, so this goes in this way. There is a slot that actually goes through the plastic goes into on this side. And then we glue this in. I'm going to use the thicker stuff. And just everywhere where they meet, I'm going to put a bead of super glue. Super glue doesn't weigh that much, and the stronger this is, the better. Next, we're going to put the tail mount on. This is also notched so that it fits and aligns properly, which is really nice. So, get it until you can go there. Turn it. Once again with the super glue. I'm going to go this side first. Okay. We'll come back over here. Now we wait for this to dry thoroughly while I wash my hands again. Alright, and now we're going to deal with the last part of the video, which is putting on all of the fins and such. This one's got a bit of plastic on it. Maybe that's intentional. It does not say to remove anything on it, so I'm going to assume I don't have to remove anything on it. It does go this way. And all we have to do is remove the double-sided sticky tape here. And slap them on. Hopefully I didn't get too much glue or anything on these and screw these up. Just be careful. There we go. Up. Punch it through. There's that one. There's the tail, there's the fin. View. Go down here. Come on. Come on. I have an extra part. That's probably not good. Well, either way, I'm building this part. Set you down. Grab you. Put you in place. And the glider is mostly built. You do have to put a sticker on here. I'm going to hold off on that because I might paint that, might not. I don't think I will. I do have a part here that I don't know what I do with. So let me figure it out. What did I miss? What is this part called? Glider hook 1. Oh, the glider hook goes on top. So the glider hook goes right here. Does it go this way? Time to find out. Drop the instructions. Goes this way. Slope forward towards the front. A little bit of super glue. I'm going to put it in here. And tiny bit on the sides. And that went together fairly easy. And I don't want to stick these together because there's still a lot of super glue around that I want to thoroughly dry before I do anything. But the build is basically complete. All that's left to do really is to tape this part, which I'll do a little bit later. I'm going to take care of the super glue and let everything dry before I go any further. If you like this build video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. There will also be a kit review of this and hopefully a flight review. I might be able to get to fly it tomorrow, but if I don't get to fly it tomorrow, it's going to be a really long time before I get to fly it. I hope you enjoyed this build video. If you liked it, please like it. Subscribe to my channel. There'll be more of these. There's also some gaming videos and some other stuff too. I'm not entirely one-dimensional. And there'll be some launch videos. Probably not too many left in this year, simply because it's October now and it's Michigan, and there's not that many days left where I'm going to be able to fly rockets. But there should be a lot of build videos over the winter, so that'll be good. See you in the next video.